Oh yeah, when we won the bean pot, I sliced my hand. Carp in the pile, like when we took the team photo, her skate sliced my hand. So there's just like blood everywhere. And we got back, and the doctor was like, you can either, it'll take longer if we numb it, or we'll just put the stitches in without any numbing cream, and you can go meet them at the bar, you know, 20 minutes earlier. And I was like, just do that.
Yeah, I gotta keep it trendy on my soul. I'm the most selfish person that I know. Here we go, down the rabbit hole. Got a couple carrots around my neck. Self-respect, when you out of line, you put yourself in check.
Welcome to the Keller and Kess Show.
I'm Megan Keller.
And I'm Amanda Kessel.
Welcome back to the Keller and Kess Show. I hope you all enjoyed listening to our first interview with Casey Bellamy. We have another stellar guest coming up soon in this episode. And like and subscribe wherever you're listening. TorchPro. And who's our guest?
Haley Skarupa, a.k.a. Scroops. Probably, I mean, her and Casey are both really freaking funny, but Scroops is probably the funniest teammate that I've ever had in my life. So really looking forward to her interview and listen to some of her crazy stories from
She has a different humor.
Yeah. I don't know how you describe it.
She's like very sarcastic.
Yes.
And quick-witted.
Yep.
She's probably the best chirper on our team. At other players and refs were at the brunt of a lot of her chirps at BC. I specifically remember like this one guy had an awful mustache and she's like, is that a ferret on your face? Like from the bench. He couldn't hear obviously, but it was so funny. She's got some great one-liners.
Yeah, she just pulls shit out of nowhere and comes up with unbelievable one-liners. So looking forward to having her. And then how about Meg? 1 year ago today, we were locked down in COVID, looking to make our Olympic journey, but we were unsure about it.
Crazy.
We gotta fill in our listeners about this because it was something that kind of, I feel like, was a little bit hidden or not talked about enough.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't know, unless like your family or close friends, all of the processes that we had to go through to get to the Olympics. And of course, we got COVID 2 weeks prior to going, and we kept testing positive. We couldn't get negatives for the life of us. And at one point, like I thought we weren't going to be able to go. There was 4 of us, right? Me, you, Carps, and Scams.
Yep.
I thought we were going to miss the Olympics.
COVID crew. Yeah. So like to go to China, we had to have two negative tests 10 days before our flight to China. And so I think our flight was supposed to be on January 24th.
To LA.
To LA. And then we were leaving on the 27th. So by the 17th, we had to have 2 negative tests. And
I don't think we had them at this point. We had like saliva tests were negative, right? Or we were trying to push it back. I think our first negative tests were the day we were going to LA.
The day before, I think we found out. You're right.
Yeah, like we didn't know if we were going to be able to go with the team or later on. We were practicing alone at outdoor rinks. Kess was running me through, you're running me through training in our apartment. She had come up with like these ISO holds and like stairs. We're doing all this, and I couldn't walk.
I killed your calves. Yeah, I killed your calves for a week.
Yeah, because she lived in New York previously, and she would just do stairs all the time. So like she's got crazy calves, and I did it, and I could not walk right for a week. So I was hurting. Yeah, so good thing we had that time off, kind of.
One and done. But yeah, so we needed these negative tests, and we couldn't get them. It didn't matter. Like if we felt fine, like all of our symptoms were pretty much gone. We had COVID for like 20 days.
Yeah, and our doctors were ready to release us to be around the team. Like that wasn't a concern infecting anybody else. We just could not get negative tests because the test was so invasive that it just would pick up any little thing. And so they were talking about bringing alternates. Like there were a bunch of athletes that were going through it as well from other countries and sports. So I think that helped us a lot. That's what bought us more time. They kind of pushed back that 10 days when a bunch of other delegations were reaching out.
I'm a little bit like I'm softer than you, and I definitely had my fair share of tears, but I'll never forget when like finally one day you just broke.
Oh, I lost it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You
was
started-
trying to be strong. You definitely had a lot of tears, and
But when you broke down, that's when I was like,
I was losing hope.
shit. I was like, we're really in this here. Like Meg is shedding tears, and yeah,
Well,
it
imagine
was,
go back in that time. We had worked so hard for the past 4 years and something totally out of our own control.
and it was just
Who
like
knows
the
if that's
fact
going
that
to
it
be
was like
your last
10 days
Olympics?
before like we were leaving. You know, it wasn't like we were fine to play. It was just basically rules, like, which was just insane. I
Yeah,
still,
crazy
like,
rules.
I'll never forget those days. Yeah. Training on our own. Then finally, when we could skate, we got like 30-minute windows. We had to wear a mask. We had to go in the rink
I was dying out there.
through a back door.
Yeah, we were in a separate locker room, separate rink, practicing on our own. I think I only lasted like 30 minutes. It was hard to breathe out there.
Yeah, and then we finally got okay the day before we were leaving. But
And then we still needed negative tests though in LA to go. That was the last hoop we needed to jump through.
yeah,
And these people, I think they touched my brain.
that was by far the deepest test we've ever
It
had.
was so deep. It made my eyes water.
Yeah.
They
That was
really got
painful.
up there.
And we were like, there was like 3 different booths, and everybody was like trying to say which person like went the lightest.
Didn't go up
and
as far.
all of them ended up
Yeah.
being brutal.
We were sending all of our teammates to the separate booths, like trying to get reports like, okay, which one should we go to that doesn't go up as far? So we try and get our best shot at going. And thankfully we all got to go, but I know there's like a few athletes that ended up testing positive there, which is heartbreaking. I don't know if some of them came over late. Remember that speed skater?
Yeah.
He came over and had to compete
Competed.
the day of that he landed,
Yeah.
and he like didn't even have his skates. Like,
Yeah. It's so sad, like after that many years of like training for that moment, but it just shows you like there's some things you can't control.
that is wild to think about.
But then when we were there, we were like felt like so good and safe because
Yeah, because we had to
already
get
had
tested
it.
every day.
Yeah, we were still testing every day.
So we kind of had that immunity built up. And so, yeah, we were, I think, a little at ease. Maybe a little nervous of having like a false positive. Like I know some people had that, but yeah, it was nice once we finally got there. But we stepped off the plane and all of the airport workers and Olympic workers are like head to toe hazmats.
It was like
I thought we were entering a different world.
Yeah. I just had my phone out, like video cameraing, like every single thing. It was just
Every
wild to
person.
see. Yeah. Because the
It was so crazy.
U.S. was so different at that time. Like everything was open and yeah.
Yeah, all year. Like all year we were so good about our masks and like not really trying to do too much because we didn't want to get COVID. We didn't want to get the team COVID. Then we have to stop training and all this stuff. We were so good. And 2 weeks before, we ended up getting it. But everybody made it, and
Yeah.
we got to
made
go
it.
play
We're
in the
good
Olympics.
this
So
year. Yeah. This day is better than a year ago. Let's
yeah,
just-
so it's our COVID-versary.
Yeah. But enough about that. Enough about our COVID story. We made it there. We have Haley coming on this week. Really excited for you guys to listen to this and get to know her a little bit. Yeah, again, just you can like and subscribe wherever you're listening at. YouTube, Instagram, TorchPro. That's all I got. Meg, you got anything?
I don't have anything. I'm just excited for also you and Scroop's big PWHPA debut this weekend.
Oh yeah, we got
You
big
guys are-
games coming up this weekend. So when you're listening next week, we would have already played our games. So check out our results at
My team
PWHPA.
plays Kess's team. First game on
Yep.
Saturday morning.
Yep, Saturday morning, big
Yep.
match up here.
I'm going to line her up.
I think this is my first game with the league so far. My team's on fire, so I just don't want to bring them down.
Yeah, maybe you just
I'm
should
like,
go.
I
Maybe you
might
should
just have to
healthy
sit
scratch
out
yourself.
here. Yeah, we'll see how Saturday goes, and then
My team's hanging on. We're in the third spot right now.
I don't know how you guys are hanging on. You should be in first. So
We're just waiting for the second half.
That's
Now
what I'm
we're
worried
gonna
about.
open it up.
yeah, we'll see how that goes on Saturday. All right, just keep your head up out there.
Oh, I will.
I'll be going for the knees.
I'll be serving up pizzas.
Perfect. I'll give you one if you give me one.
Okay. Fair
All
enough.
right. Sounds good. We'll see you there.
All right. Enjoy this next interview with our good friend, Haley Skarupa. She's a funny one.
What's up, everybody? We have a hilarious guest today, probably one of the funniest teammates we've ever had. She's an Olympic gold medalist, second all-time points holder at Boston College, men or women, 244 points in 144 career college games, the all-time leader for the most miles ridden on the assault bike, Snapchat queen, and 0 F's given. 3 years ago today, her life was almost ended by Marie-Philippe Poulin and a
Roll the
middle-life
tape.
hit. Welcome, Haley Skarupa.
Thank you. Appreciate that intro too. One of the more
Welcome,
unique
Scrooge.
ones I've gotten.
We're going to have to roll the tape of that open ice hit when this
Yeah.
airs.
Oh,
I have it readily available 3 years ago today on Snapchat, slow-mo and in real time. So
open
is
ice hit.
unbelievable.
We still don't know where Haley was going.
yeah, I mean, Savannah Harmon, I gave her a nice little lane to skate on in there because I think Pooh was going, and I kind of got in the way, and then yeah, she had a
The
free
seas
lane into
parted.
the ozone. My contact lens is still on the ice there in Chicago, so good times.
Pretended like she didn't even see you, but we know she saw you.
No penalty. Yeah, she did the whole. I've watched it so many times. If you replay the film, like she knew exactly where I was. I had no clue. Where she
And
was.
you had no idea
If
where
you play
you
it
were.
in slow mo, I turn my head. I have a second, and then just head snaps back. I'm surprised my shoulder didn't. There was no real injuries, but
But you're living.
here
You're here today.
We're here.
We are here. How's the body feeling, though, after all this marathon training?
It feels better than it did last week. I was 20% last week, I was telling my family, and now I would say I'm 70. So after a lot of rehabilitation, went to an orthopedic doctor last week for the first time in several years. Amanda helped me a lot with some different stretches, things to do. It feels in a good place. I ran 8 miles today, and my knee didn't feel like it was going to explode. So that's at least a plus.
For all the listeners, Haley is preparing to run for the New York City Marathon. So once this episode is out, she will hopefully have survived with all of her limbs attached.
I
So
know, this could be in loving memory of me, this podcast. I might not be here in a few weeks, but we'll
a
see.
tribute video. Yeah, let's hope not.
Yeah, if anybody's ever watched hockey players run, it's not pretty. So
Yeah, and after seeing your guys' videos of me practicing my form, it's just fee-fi, faux-fum down the road. So I got some work to do.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
We'll get
thanks
back
for
to
coming
that.
on. Yeah.
Thanks
But
for having me.
yeah, we don't want to spend too much time talking about your childhood. We may need a separate episode for that journey. But there is one story that I remember hearing about your days growing up because you're very competitive, so I wanted to know what you were like as a kid and growing up and if you had any stories. And there was one about powder puff.
Oh, my powder puff football days. That was the only extracurricular that I did with school. Obviously, we were all pretty MIA with hockey and stuff. So, but once a year in the spring, your flag football, freshmen play the seniors, sophomore play the juniors. I was a freshman. We were playing the seniors who were very intense, and it was the seniors never lose. I had my hair down, ready to go. And we won, we just stomped them, not even close. And they tried to fabricate the score, trying to pay off the refs, things like that. And at the end, my brother's friends were there who are seniors at the time. And they're like, you guys didn't win because you cheated. She's on steroids, accusing me of being on steroids. And, yeah, I was like, I'm not, by the way, but, thank you for that accusation. And we went on to win the championship. And I went to Southeast District tryouts the next day, and I could barely walk. I was so sore. And my dad's like, you're so stupid for doing that, participating in that. And I was like, it wasn't even close. We won.
We won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I also got in trouble for like participating in flag powder puff football like during our hockey season. My dad was like, you're going to get hurt. Like, you shouldn't be playing. I'm like, I'm not. I'll be quarterback. I got hurt, like, immediately.
as quarterback, did you just run?
Yeah, I was trying to win the game.
Yeah.
At the end. End zone touchdown. I was diving and
Yeah, our
rolled my
quarterback
ankle.
she was tiny. She insisted on being the quarterback. I was like, fine.
Were
can be
you
the
running
quarterback.
back?
Yeah.
I
was
could
like,
see
"You're
you
giving
as
me
a
the
running
ball."
back.
Yeah. There was one photo. The photos of this event they're so embarrassing. There's one photo I'm like blocking, and this girl's like, her hands are like over my shoulders, and I'm just like trying to box out while this girl's the worst form you've ever seen, trying to like throw a Hail Mary. It was a mess, but we came out with the W. All 4 years, by the way. Just
You're that
started.
teammate taking the ball from their
Yeah,
own
ripped it out of my
teammate.
teammates, screaming at everyone. No one was, I'm not proud of it, but we were all happy when we came home with the trophy.
so proud.
yeah. I'm not going to lie, though. Like, I may be on, like, your brother's friend's sides because I remember playing against you in youth hockey, Honey Baked. Like, we would play Haley's team growing up, and every time our coach is like, were you 22 then? Or no?
28.
28. That was
Yeah.
always your number. They were like, watch 28 when she gets the puck. Like, she can't score. Like, and every time she'd have a hat trick versus us.
I was in the best shape of my life in high school. Like, we played like 6 games a weekend. I was going every other shift. Like, I felt I ate anything I wanted to, and that's when I continued on throughout college. But we weren't playing as much, so that caught up to me. But yeah, good times in high school. It was not fun playing against you guys, but it was always a good challenge.
Yeah, it was more fun being on your team, that's for sure. So let's talk about BC. You went to BC. Was that like always a school that you had in the back of your mind? Like, I know your mom and dad went there, right? So was that
Yeah.
always in your head?
Yeah, it was always kind of there. We went to games as like a kid, men's hockey games. I honestly didn't even know the women had a team till I was in 7th or 8th grade. I just didn't know women's college hockey was really a thing. I grew up in Maryland, so hockey was pretty obsolete. But yeah, I knew I wanted to be in the Northeast. I narrowed it down to like BC and Harvard, as many of us did. I did look at Wisconsin, and I also looked at Princeton because it was the closest to my house. But after doing some visits and some self-reflection, I realized an Ivy League was probably just not going to be where I enjoyed my time the most. And then after, meeting the teammates, coaches, I was like, all right, yeah, BC, hands down, is where I want to be. And no regrets, got to meet so many great teammates who I'm still such good friends with.
You didn't have a bad time there career-wise either. 244 points that Kess said in 144 games. Like, that's absolutely insane. Like, you dominated college hockey.
I mean, it was probably,
No.
I played 3 out of my 4 years with Carp, so that made my life a lot easier. Then Keller came around. We just had, I feel like, such good players on the team that, you touch the puck somewhat near the net and you're probably going to get a point because someone's going to score.
And speaking of that, I have to ask, probably the biggest mystery in women's college hockey, why and how hasn't BC women's hockey ever won a national
The dagger.
championship?
I saw Kess typing this like on her prep sheet, and I was like, here we go.
I don't know what the answer is. And I feel like my 4 years there, it was just, we were so close. And then Minnesota comes trotting along over our shoulders.
And
just
Kess
rips
comes
it.
from
Yes.
outer space, just
I know.
swooping in. She's back.
I know. I remember when they announced your return, I said it was the return of Amanda Kessel. And I was like, and there go our dreams, our hopes and dreams. But yeah, I don't know if I have an exact answer for you. But yeah, I mean, the WCHA is such a strong league that it's hard at the end of the season when, I'll be honest, I was never in my best shape at the end of the season because, especially we were winning, we go out after every win,
Too many Tuesday nights out.
Yeah, all of a sudden it kind of does catch up to you.
We were winning a lot.
We were at UNH. The sheet of ice is gigantic. And I remember that first pregame skate, I was like, I am unwell. Like, F1 is not going to be me, or I can't back check. Like, I was in a bad place. And I look back in photos of myself from that time and I was like, oh my God, my face looked huge. So for me, it could have been out of shape late in the season, but as a team, I don't have a good answer for you. Hopefully they get one at some
Still
point.
some good memories though. Like
Great memes.
I remember the semifinals. Like, I mean, you and Carp had a serious like connection all year, but as soon as we got to overtime and like I was watching this play like develop up the ice and Carp has the puck and then you're in the slot, like one timer, you couldn't have like wrote it any better. Like, what are some of your best memories like from your time in BC?
I mean, that's definitely one of them. I remember, I don't think I took a single stride that entire shift. It was like the first shift of
Just wait in the
overtime.
slot.
I literally have watched it back and I'm just coasting in the offensive zone. Like even Kalia jumps on a play and I'm just kind of standing, and then Carp does obviously all of the work and I'm just trying to find a place to put it.
Know your
to
role.
Score.
Work
Yeah.
smarter, not harder.
But exactly. But I would say, there are a lot of good memories from BC. Definitely just after a win, or after we win the Beanpot, going out as a team. The draft
Maybe getting
Sundays.
some stitches.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When we won the Beanpot, I sliced my hand. Carp in the pile, like when we took the team photo, her skate sliced my hand. So there's just like blood everywhere, and we got back and the doctor was like, it'll take longer if we numb it, or we'll just put the stitches in without any numbing cream and you can go meet them at the bar, 20 minutes earlier. And I was like, just do that. And I remember Kinger and Court were there and it was just so incredibly painful, but
We were in the
saved me.
locker
Got an
room.
extra drink out of it.
And it was like a massacre had happened. The BU locker room, like there was blood
Oh, my
everywhere,
whole-
like all over a towel. And people are like, where is this coming from? Like, who is
It was the smallest
bleeding
cut. I
out?
still have a scar from it right here. It's like the smallest, but I guess it was super deep, just kept going. And then I remember I took my own stitches out because I was just impatient and they were kind of already coming out. And that's why there's like still a scar there. But, this is the price you pay for the beans, if you will.
That is one of like the coolest things about playing, I think, in Boston, is the bean pot, like being the best of Boston and competing for that. I guess it'd be like your guys' border battle.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know. I feel like I missed out
You did.
on the beans.
I know.
You missed out on the beans.
Yeah, the beans were fun. It gave you that like taste of playoff hockey in
Yeah.
February, which we needed as a team because we were kind of just playing these regular season games in Hockey East, and then the Beanpot was like, all right,
Yeah.
accountability check. Are we good in like high stakes situations?
Progress report.
Exactly, and if so, we got the beans. So yeah, I remember we ripped the top off the trophy one year, and then that was that. The bottom fell off my sophomore year, so we had like two kind of trophies. The bottom, which was like a sign, and then the actual trophy itself. Every year, someone breaks the trophy, not a sign of respect, but yeah.
Out of a sign for respect.
Only BC. but-
Well,
So-
we were winning a lot
Yeah, it was fun. We
at
had-
that time when Haley was there.
So successful college career, and then moving on past that, you have one of the most interesting Olympic journeys that I've ever heard of, come across. Like, it's just amazing what you went through. So you had been consistently making the national team, a 3-time world champion, leading into Olympic tryouts, and unfortunately, didn't make the team. Like, how were you after that? How were you coping?
What were you doing?
Well, I went home to Maryland, I remember, right after, and just like obviously did nothing. It was, pretty a devastating time right there, just because I felt like, you let so many people down. I didn't expect, I wasn't like, oh, I expected to make the team and I didn't make it. It was just, awful
expected-
news.
Yeah.
I mean, you have had an impact like on the team for the past 3 years. We hadn't lost a world championships. We were a winning group, and you were a big part of that. So, I mean, it was shocking to a lot of us, I'd say, as teammates.
Yeah, it was an interesting summer for me afterwards. I ended up moving back to Boston, but I was walking dogs for a company that was based downtown because it was actually, looking back on it now, it was perfect because didn't have to talk to any people. Like, they were just, and I got to walk, kind of reflect on, my hockey career, what I wanted to do next, and didn't expect to play hockey really ever again, not professionally, not anything. I kind of wanted to just move on. And then I got, a phone call out of the blue several months later in September. So it was like May to September. I was just kind of figuring out what my next step was. And, yeah, that's kind of where it all began
From
again.
dog walking to the Olympics.
Yeah, that was my training, walking around the city with dogs
I'll
and the
give a
poop
little
bags.
background here. So for Olympic tryouts, there's about like 40 some people invited, and then It depends on the year, but usually they either like take anywhere from the final roster's 23. They'll take anywhere from like 25 to 28 people. But this Olympic year, they decided that they were going to pick the exact team, 23 players.
Yep.
So everybody thought in June that was the Olympic team.
Like, you made it.
Yes.
Because that's what we had been told.
Yeah, and I was told when I got cut too, not like I asked, but they said that any alternates would be college players because they were still currently playing. So they set that straight too at the time, and were like, yeah, if we take extras, it'll be college people basically. So pack your
So
bags.
you were just expecting to be done.
Yeah. Oh,
so when
yeah.
you got the call, and did they ask like, "Hey, are you ready? Have you been training?" Like,
Yeah, I think I remember I was asked if I was skating or intending to skate, and I said yes without, I played in Beantown.
Without hesitation.
Beantown,
Hadn't
which
been
is
training though.
Yeah. Oh, I was just jogging, like, hitting up the elliptical, like getting some cardio in at Boston Sports Club a few times a week. But that was pretty much it. I was not skating, not training. So when afterwards I skated with the Walpole Express girls team, like the day after, just to see how it would feel, because I was dealing with like a hip injury from running. And I mean, it didn't go well, that skate, at all. I was like, I have no idea how I'm going to go skate with an Olympic team who's currently training. But I figured that was my last shot. So what am I going to say? No, and then wonder what would have happened. So I was like, all right, we're just going to have to figure it out, as we do.
speaking of the hip injury that you brought up, we have to bring this up as well. When you first arrived, like, to residency, you had that hip injury, but I mean, you're coming in kind of a new player into the group. You want to make this team. You can't say anything about it. And we had been doing a lot of like speed training that year, like sprints. That's all we did off the ice. We did like sprinting all the time. So we told Haley, like, this is what we're going to be doing. And she's like, oh God, all right, I can like barely run. Like, can somebody
need to
check
practice.
check out my run, make sure it looks okay. Like, can I fit in with the group? Because like her hip was hurting so badly, and she took off in this grass, and it was like the most appalling run.
My
Took off is a
80-year-old
nice way of
grandma
saying
is like
it.
moving faster than this. Like,
It was like a tortoise, yeah, in the grass next to the pond. Yeah, it was really painful.
She goes,
and
how's it
painful to
look?
watch.
Is it okay? We're like, you're going to need to hide, like, in the mix. Like, just figure it out. Like,
pretend you're moving really fast. Move those arms.
Yeah, it was like I had to strategize. Like, I obviously can't go in the front. I can't go all the way in the back, because then I'm obviously showing my vulnerabilities, because people are, think that the slower people do go in the back. So I was kind of middle back, so right where people aren't, if people weren't to pay attention, it would be at that moment. But obviously people did. And I remember our strength guy and our coach was like, is she okay? And like, I did get pulled out of it just for sheer
It's like,
safety.
you probably shouldn't be running yet.
I was like, I definitely shouldn't be, but we gave it our all. People were just blowing past me. I remember Gigi like blew past me, and I was like, see ya, Gigi. Like, I'm really in a bad place here. But
like, that's the situation, like, you were in, like, the hand you were dealt, and like, you came in and like were such a great teammate, like, regardless of anything happening in practice or in games. Like, how hard was it to, like, was it challenging to come in like that late in the process and like just join the group?
it was definitely like a shift in my mindset, because I went from at selection camp, kind of feeling like I was right in like the mix, like kind of felt like what my strengths and weaknesses were, to I'm going totally rogue now when I came back. And I had no idea kind of what they wanted of me either. So I was like, I'm just going to enjoy this, because I didn't even think I'd be here. And obviously, like, you guys having such fun, cool teammates made it a lot easier for me. Because like during practices when, I was kind of just chilling and like figuring out, all right, yeah, like, DJing during practice, like just standing there, like obviously just ready to go if anyone did need me. Like, it was fun being able to at least enjoy the situation in an appropriate way of saying it with you guys. So yeah, there were a lot of challenges. So many times I went back to my room and I was like, what am I even doing here? Like any feedback would have been appreciated, but we just, every day I was just trying to enjoy the present moment, because I didn't know if I was going to be there the next day, type thing.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. It's like you get brought back, but it wasn't really like, oh, you're on the team. It's like you're here.
Yeah.
Like a couple weeks.
Yeah. So I was called, said, you're coming back for 3 weeks. It's not really a tryout. It's just filling in, helping out the team type thing. That's exactly
Because
what
there
I
was
was told. Injuries, yeah, things like that, obviously, because they only chose this exact amount of people for the team. And so I had like a day to decide. Obviously, I said yes, flew down. The next day, we had that game with the junior guys. Just
right off the bus.
Right off the bus. It's like someone sharpened my skates. These have been smacked
Hadn't played
against the
hockey
cement.
in 5 months.
Yeah. And and then I went back after those 3 weeks. And I remember before I went back, the coach was like, like, thanks for coming. Like, we could call you a week before the Olympics. We could call you a week from today. We might not call you at all, but stay ready. So I was
Stay
like,
ready.
Thanks for the feedback. I'll go and play for the Boston Pride now. And and then I got a call like a few weeks before Thanksgiving saying, okay, you're coming back for a real tryout now. It's like, woo, real tryout. So then I went back after Thanksgiving, and then it was that week before Christmas that we all kind of found out internally, like who.
Yeah.
Which I was I was shocked. I was like, there's no way I make this team. I haven't played at all, like anything, not in practice or games. But yeah, it was definitely a unique journey for sure.
Yeah, how was that, like, sharing that news, like, with your family and, like, your parents?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sure they were a part of the process, like, the whole way.
Yeah, I definitely looped them in throughout the whole thing.
Hey, I'm going to the Olympics.
I know. My dad was always like, you should ask for, like, feedback or, like, something, as, like, normal situations would be like that. And I was like, this is not normal. Like, I can't. Like, I simply can't. And so I was like, anything that you think would be like conventional, it's pretty much just do the opposite here. I remember that conversation. So after they announced the team or whatever, and I told my parents, I remember my mom, I was talking to her on the phone. She's like, I just drove over the curb. She was like driving or something. And that's what she always tells people. But yeah, it was obviously, they were a huge part of when I was cut, like being there, just throughout the whole coming back process, just having like them to lean on. So sharing that news with them, they were probably just as happy as I was, if not more. So that was pretty cool for sure.
Yeah, I'll never forget that process for you, and just truly admire like what you went through to get there. Never really giving up and always having a smile on your face and bringing joy and laughter to the team every single day.
And thank you for your hospitality. I spent a lot of, I feel like, time in your room
making
and for all
gingerbread
the rides.
houses
Eating your gingerbread houses after they were made. So yeah, thanks for being there for me, guys, when I was a nomad, if you will.
You made that year. Like, I think a lot of our memories, like, from that year, like, it was us hanging out together and like all the funny stories that we've created, like, off the ice. Like, that's what when we get together, I feel like that's what we end up talking about the most.
Yeah. Oh,
it's not even the
100%.
hockey. It's like all of the stories that we have along the way.
I know. Hannah's like, we should write a book, or like, you have to write a book if you end up making this team. And then afterwards, I'm like, I honestly don't even know where I would start. Like, where do you begin?
Yeah.
So it's easier to talk about than figuring out how to write about it.
And that year, you obviously were going through some downs. Like, I remember one of the nights, like, that you had a notorious trip to Applebee's.
Oh my gosh.
Dollar Long Island's.
Yeah.
During the month of January or whatever.
Yeah, and then we had overspeed the next day. Was that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we went to Applebee's. They had Dollar Litz, stands for Long Island iced teas. And then, I was just like, all right, well, I'm just going to hang out during practice tomorrow. So, like, I'll be fine. Then, of course, it was like overspeed day. We're all skating equally type thing. And I was like, classic. And I was just obviously unwell the one practice that I was participating in. But yeah, I give a lot of props to that Applebee's. That Applebee's like really helped to push me through. It was always there when we needed it, like karaoke night.
It was the one thing that was always there.
Yeah,
Applebee's doesn't get enough credit. Like, people,
it doesn't.
Like, no, they have karaoke, they have cheap drinks. It's like,
and when we went back, like last
apps.
year, yeah, like, and
they got it all.
Not the best quality, but it was pretty consistent with, taking us in when we needed them to.
Gets the job done. Fourth line player, steady player.
So thank you, Applebee's, for fueling our road to the Olympics.
My overspeed.
What was it like to like finally like get to the Olympics? Like once we were all there, we talk about this a lot, like opening ceremonies and like putting on like our outfits for the first time. That's like one of my like favorite parts, like, is that when it hit you? Like, this
Yeah.
is where we're at? Like,
Yeah, for sure. Just like the whole walking in opening ceremonies thing, because that was like one of the things I was really looking forward to, because that's like the first, before actually playing, that's the first sign of, you really made it here type thing. Obviously, there's work to be done, but like walking with the other U.S. athletes, all of that was just a really cool experience. And having our families in the building, that was really fun too. Aside from like stepping on the ice too for the first time. Remember, I literally texted my parents. I said, "Get there for warm-ups," and they never get anywhere for warm-ups. Like they roll in like after the anthem when the puck's being
they're
dropped.
probably with my parents. I think they hung out a lot.
Yeah,
that
definitely.
trip.
I was like, you need to get there for warm-ups though, because it might be the only time I step on the ice. So like, make sure you get there. And they were there, I think, the first like couple games, and then they drifted off. But they saw that, so that was also cool. Just going on the ice for the first time, in the Team USA Olympic jersey. You don't forget that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you almost feel like you're in like your own like little world.
Yeah.
Like stepping out there.
And McDonald's every day we were we weren't supposed to be hitting up McDonald's.
McCafe.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't go in the dining hall.
Yeah, that's right. We couldn't go in the dining. We had our own little separate one, but the hours were limited, so people would hit up. I will say I didn't hit up McDonald's for. I only did coffee. I was going through some fitness. I needed to lock in my fitness a little, so I could not fly off the handle with McDonald's. But the coffee, which there was definitely made with whole milk, those were not good for you either. But I remember we were just trying to see where the staff was.
Yeah.
It was like Mission Impossible going to McDonald's every day, but it was worth it.
I think Hill and I went there after opening ceremonies, and you Snapchatted us in our opening ceremonies gear, ordering cheeseburgers and nuggets because we were so hungry.
Yeah.
And you're like, what are these two doing at McDonald's? And
because everyone's like, oh, Olympic athletes, what are you eating in the village? What are those healthy types of options? I'm like, well, there are those, but there are also many athletes who just, again, hit up McDonald's when you're already there. What's it going to do?
Sometimes it's the safest bet.
Yeah, that's
too.
true. And I feel like it was in South Korea, it seemed less fried for whatever reason. I feel like they had some healthier options too. So I'll give you some credit there.
Definitely.
It's Haley approved.
Yeah.
Our McDonald's trip.
So we go through the Olympics, and obviously came out with a gold medal. So what was that like, that feeling of finally, accomplishing your dream of winning a gold medal?
Especially after going through that whole whirlwind of a journey.
I know.
To
Honestly,
finally get that around your neck.
I mean, yeah, I couldn't believe it. Just the whole experience, culminating to that after, throughout overtime and a shootout too. I don't understand how I got so lucky in all of those moments that it kind of led to that. But yeah, I mean, you can't really we always say it, you can't really put words into it, but you can't. How do you explain that? It's your whole dream, especially the whole journey I went on. Yeah, it's I somehow left the Olympics with a gold medal after all of that, what just happened type thing. But so thank you guys for playing really well and getting that.
I was in the penalty box. So.
It would not have happened without you
much.
there.
Oh yeah, Meg was in the penalty box for the shootout. I
was
remember
by
that.
myself. I was just looking across.
That was
at
such
the
a
bench.
bad penalty in overtime. That was such a
Yeah.
joke. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I was on a new level during that game. I think I burned more calories than probably some people who were playing just from my
Screaming?
emotional, lost my voice. I was unwell. I needed my own little area in the middle there. The grocery stick, that was me, but I was an active grocery stick during that game. It was, but yeah, it was
You
obviously
need that
something
energy.
true.
I know you kept my mentals in check. There was times that I would be going off the rail, and you just need that person that can be there for you and laugh.
We all have our role. Yeah, that's for sure. It was a fun game though. I mean, it was stressful as hell, but it was fun.
Stressful as hell.
It was down to the wire there, but yeah, I can't believe it.
And then after winning, I remember you had a crew there, Kelly and
Oh yeah,
was it Kat?
Yeah, I had a couple friends.
A couple of friends you grew up either playing with or friends from home, and all of our families. That's one of my favorite memories is when we were in the check house. And
oh my gosh,
our coaches or GM are trying to give this big thank you speech, and was it Hannah or you?
It was
I don't
Hannah.
know. We all quickly joined in, started singing the national anthem.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
Yeah, out of nowhere, and in unison, all these family and friends, like we all just start screaming the national anthem.
Yeah, I look over and my mom and Angela Ruggiero are like, "Oh, Jose." I was like, "Do they know each other?" I guess they do now. Yeah.
Your mom has no clue who she is.
Probably not at that point. But yeah, I had a couple friends who flew in for like 24 hours. My high school coach came in for also 24 hours. And they came in before the gold medal game and literally went from the Czech house, or I think after we went to the Red Bull house or something, got on a train and left. I don't know how they managed to pull that off, but yeah, troopers. It was fun to have them there. And they were also part of the national anthem. They were like,
The
"Who?"
crew.
Yeah. They're like, "Where did this come from?" I was like, "I don't know. It came from that corner where Hannah definitely was," and then just circulated around the room.
Should we fill people in on like these houses that we're talking about, like Czech houses, and
Yeah.
for anybody that hasn't been to an Olympics?
Yeah, so every country basically has a house, and by day it's like a place for friends and family of the country, or even not, to like hang out, watch events, things like that. They're kind of scattered throughout outside the village, around. And then by night they're like clubs, basically. When we went to the Heineken house,
They had,
that
like,
was
a
a
full-on
full blown
band.
club. Yeah,
Yeah.
that band was electric. Oh my gosh.
They were so good.
Yeah, we were front row, obviously. And yeah, so that's like how, and they're kind of scattered throughout. And I don't even know the protocol of like getting in. I don't remember how that occurred. But
It can be
Some of
like
them have like
tricky.
tickets. Some of them like are open to the public. Like the Czech house was like a bar and like restaurant like all day. Anybody could go in. But I know like ours, Team
USA is
was
strict.
like just family and friends.
Yeah.
And it was like a place for them to like watch the like
yeah, it was pretty cool.
events.
But the European country houses, like those are the
They were
ones.
doing it right.
Yeah.
That's where you gotta go.
Yeah, they had fun. Yeah, they really knew how to do it up.
Yeah, we had a blast doing that. Even like post Olympic tour, like what is like one of your like top memories? I'm sure there's a lot.
Oh
but
my gosh. I'm trying to think. Post Olympic tour. So we went straight to LA, I remember.
The Ellen show.
Straight to the Ellen show, and we
Right
were
off the
all
plane.
yeah. I remember people were like getting car sick on the way to the hotel. Like they're like, "We're going to Ellen in a few hours. Like everyone figure it out." And then from there we went to where? New York? Was it New York?
I think so.
Yep.
Oh, one of my memories is when we were going to the women's soccer game, and we had just had a late night somewhere, and on the bus people were like trying to do their hair, and we were using that also recently popped up on my Snapchat memories, was we were using the Snapchat front camera as a mirror. So like and when Lee was using it, she was like putting like makeup on her face, and I was obviously recording it. So I have like videos of like Lee like just being so serious trying to like apply her makeup, straighten her Hannah's like straightening her hair in my camera, because we were like on the way. They're like, "You're going on the field in 10 minutes or whatever," and we just woke up obviously, and there was just how we kind
I
of
think I was
on the
still
go.
sleeping.
Yeah, you're definitely still sleeping. I mean, I wasn't doing anything. I was just holding the camera, recording people. But the people who were trying to, look a little presentable, not us, were really getting after it. It was so funny.
Like 3 weeks straight, we were just like going to a million different events, not sleeping.
Tao was a big
Tao's a
big
top
memory.
3.
Yeah, and that was our last thing too. So we really went out with a bang. I remember I was going to Penn Station and my wallet dropped in like a puddle, and I contemplated just leaving it there. Like I was literally walking across the street like dragging my bags, and I was like, honestly, I don't even know if I can go back and get that right now. Like my momentum's going this way. Yeah. And then I got into the train station and just found like one of those guys, a red cap, and I was like, just take me to where I need to be. Here's my ticket. Like I cannot move or do anything. I was with like Pelkey and Barnsey, and they obviously were like, okay, so like we're gonna go to our train. And I was like, just get me a like grocery cart to just like roll me
Thank God
to
for
my train.
teammates like that.
Yeah.
That can just
I needed them.
bring you
badly.
along in your times of need.
Yeah. So those are some things that stuck out.
Good times, good times. So then on to post-Olympics. Kind of what have you been up to in life, transitioning into the real working world?
Yeah. I feel like that. Yeah.
Any
So-
tips?
Any tips?
We're not there yet, but any tips?
I don't know if I am in the space to be giving tips, but yeah, I just am like a big trial and error, like see what you like, try it. If you don't like it, try something else type thing. So I was still like playing hockey after the Olympics, like for, I think I played for the Pride again, just seeing if I wanted to continue doing that. And then I just realized, do I want to do a whole 4 years like this, like being cut like back and forth?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, so I was like, I'll still play because I love playing, and I don't think I want to just stop. That was one lesson I learned from the first time I was cut, is I just wanted to just stop playing. That's probably not what I should have done. So I was like, I still play. I like love hanging out with my teammates and friends, and I know the easiest way to see you guys is to like go to tournaments, things like that. But then I tried to figure out, all right, I need to do something, in addition to this. So I worked for the Caps. That was like my first thing. But it was like more so in their, marketing, like community stuff like that, youth hockey, which
kind of
it was
the
fun.
game.
Yeah, it was definitely fun. I love the people I work with, but when COVID happened, like everything was kind of put on hold. So that was another time for me to circle back and be like, all right, what do I want to do outside of sports? This would probably be the time to do that. So I really did some searching of what industry, what I wanted to do for work, what kind of aligned with my interests and qualities. And I just literally kind of fell into like tech sales, a company that's literally based a few buildings down here. And it's like a lot of former athletes, things like that. So I've still worked there. It's been like almost 2 years now, and I really like it. Is it what I want to do like forever? Maybe. Like, I don't know. I have to figure that out, but I'm happy I definitely tried something new, and it also gives me the flexibility to still play if I wanted to, still do other things. So I kind of feel like I have the best of both worlds. Yeah.
That's great. And you're training for the New York City Marathon now.
Yeah.
Right? So you're still competitive.
Yeah.
And
It's
finding ways to
stay fit in more fun
Stay
ways.
fit.
Yeah. It's been nice having something like a goal, for the past couple of years. I've just, like you said, I've just literally ride the assault bike for like 30 miles every day. It's like
Haley's
an hour and
like,
a half.
Yeah, like the craziest teammate that I've ever had with like working out. Like your endurance is just like insane. Like
you could go on forever.
I think that has helped and hurt me with hockey, because I would always like do extra cardio, but it wasn't probably the type of cardio I should have been doing, because I just wanted to like go for a run or, bike for a long time. And Mike Boyle's like, you should not be biking like for long periods of time unless you're going to be doing intervals, things like that. But I was like, I just like doing it. I don't know why. But yeah, I don't know. It also like for mental stability, it was always like good. I could just like, that's where I kind of like get into my own world. I just like play music, because people are like, well, what do you do when you're like on the bike for 2 hours? And I'm just like listening to music. I rarely like watch a show or do anything like that, which I don't know. It's probably not super healthy, but I like it.
you're fit.
Yeah. That's
It's
actually
just
a
finding
great
ways.
segue for our starting five. You listen to music all the time on the bike.
I do.
So we do this fun little segment called Starting Five. You pick your top 5 things of the given category.
Okay.
So what we had for you was best songs of 2022, or like your most listened to songs.
Yeah. You want me to come up with a few?
Yep. You can
All right.
you can
I
use your Spotify if you want, maybe.
I have a couple in mind, and then I might actually revert to my phone. So one that I've been listening to, and I'll listen to songs, like I drive back and forth from Maryland and Boston all the time, and I'll listen to one song, this is pretty psychotic, for like 2 hours straight, just on repeat. And it eventually might get old, but it really doesn't for a long time. And one that I recently came across was, I don't know if you guys know Sam Fender. He's
Yes.
like in Europe. Like, I don't know if I really love all of his music, but this one live version of Getting Started by Sam Fender just like slaps. Like, I've been listening to that for like literally 3 months since I got my Planet Fitness membership around Labor Day. I've just listened to that song pretty much when I work out on repeat, and it doesn't get old.
Write these down, people.
So
They're gonna
that's
be
one.
hits.
The live version, it's very different than the not live version, I will say. The not live version is still good, but not as repeatable. Another random one is Exile by Taylor Swift and Bon Iver. It's like slower. I don't know why I'm not a huge Taylor Swift fan. Like, she has some good music, but it's not like,
Yeah, I was
I didn't
gonna say,
like,
are you a Swiftie? Like, did you listen to
I
her
didn't
new
jump out of my
album?
chair when her album came out. Yeah. Like, I still haven't listened to the whole thing.
You'll get around to it.
Yeah, eventually. But yeah, that one is one for whatever reason I always listen to. I'm a big Mumford and Sons fan. he recently came out with a new one, because now he's like on his own, Marcus Mumford. I'm seeing him 2 days after the marathon. I really hope I'm able to go, even if
Are you
someone
going alone to this one? Or do you
well,
have somebody?
Taylor with Silk has a ticket, but it was too far away for me, so we're going together but sitting separately.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Haley's known to go to concerts alone. Like, that's how much
I
she
do
loves
go to
music.
concerts
It's actually
alone.
like so impressive.
I love
it's
it.
like, what am I gonna do? Talk to people the whole time and then miss the music? Or
Yeah.
if someone's like, I love this song, it's like, cool. Like, let's listen to it then. You
And
know
we,
what I mean?
we know you're recording the whole show.
yeah, that's true.
Like, you don't even need to go. If you want to see somebody, you don't need to go, because Haley will go and she'll record the entire thing.
Yeah, I will. I'll just like the chorus of every song, and I'll save them, and then I'll see which ones are worthy of posting or sharing. But yeah, going to his concert. So there's one, I think it's called Grace by Marcus Mumford. That one I've listened to a lot.
3 down.
I know, I'm trying to think of other two at the top of my head.
I
I'm
mean,
gonna revert to my
Elton,
phone. Oh yeah, I've gone. I love Elton,
Yeah.
but
we can give ours while you're thinking.
yeah.
Do you want to go?
Yeah, go for it.
Sure, I got my 5 right here. A little bit all over the map. Shivers,
By Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran. I love all the mainstream, you know? Like, I'm like,
I mean, that one bops. Like, it's pretty good.
She's
Like,
basic.
it definitely has a good beat.
Easy on Me, Adele,
Oh yeah, Adele's good.
Till You Can't,
Bye.
Cody Johnson, right?
Oh.
About Damn Time, some Lizzo.
Oh yeah.
Mix it in there.
It's about damn time.
And then Love Tonight, David Guetta remix.
Oh, that one's good. That one's
So,
really good.
That is a good club one.
I just found another one that I've been listening to. Got a great air drum solo that I was trying to perfect on the New Jersey Turnpike yesterday. All Along the Watchtower, but the Dave Matthews Band version. It's pretty long, but like really hold on, because it's so good. Very, very good. And then Florence and the Machine. She's one of my favorites. Honestly, any of her stuff, but I would have to say Heartlines is one of my staples for her. It's pretty old, but it never disappoints.
She's a good performer. She just kind of frolics around on stage, and like that's how I would
barefoot.
imagine like you.
Barefoot, yeah. I wanted to be in the front row for her concert like last week or 2 weeks ago, but there's
Oh my God.
almost a dress code. You have to wear like dresses. Me and Taylor realized, I was like, I can't. I'm not. We're out for
That's
that.
not up.
I
our
just
alley.
remembered something. Haley's also notorious for like, she'll start at the back of a crowd in a concert and she will end up like on stage. Like, she'll be in the front row somehow by the end of the concert. You know, she's making her way up there.
It's like an OCD thing, I think. I'm like, I can't be here because I have to know what it's like being in the front, you know? So if it's easier when I'm alone. I remember we did it when we were at Zed, and it was
and how do you
literally
get
a
up
mission.
there? Like, I want to know, like, what's your strategy to get
It
up
depends. Sometimes I have to
She
like
throws
get there
the body
earlier.
around.
Oh well, yeah. If I start in the back, it's a lot of just like, oh sorry, or just I'm meeting my friend up there type thing. Like, I've been here for a while, and they let you in, and then by the time you get to the front, you have to start throwing the body a bit because people are pretty protective up there. But at that point, you're like close enough. I'm like, I can zoom a little, and these videos make it seem like I'm in the front row type thing.
My favorite was like when the Haley was like, and the beat's about to drop, and this is when the bodies are hitting the floor.
Yeah, some girl literally took a tumble, and I felt a little bad, but she had some cushioning. But yeah, that's where you got a smoke's going. That's where you can get away with
When
something.
it starts to get really loud, then that's when you throw the body.
Yeah, and the
That's when
guy,
the refs missed the call.
the bartender because she was blocking the stairs, she was breaking all these rules, and so I was like, so sorry, I can get her out of the way if you need. He's like, no, I'll do it. And she was gone in like 10 minutes. I was like, ladies, let's go down the stairs now. We got a little closer. Yeah, you gotta trust the
That is
process.
unbelievable.
It's amazing. What were your top 5?
I have a lot of Zach Bryan. I went to that concert.
I
with
know.
Haley.
I didn't
We
put
make it
him
to the
on mine
front,
because
but-
I knew he would be on yours.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Revival by Zach Bryan,
Yeah, that one's good.
banger. Something in the Orange by
By
Zach,
Zach
Bryan.
Bryan.
Then I had Cold Heart, Dua Lipa.
Oh yeah.
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 Wasted on You, Morgan Wallen. And then, of course, Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls.
Yeah, that one. That's a good one.
When it's raining, that's just a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, what's their live performance? Which one?
2004, Buffalo.
Buffalo. If you haven't watched
it
it,
up.
yep, go watch it right
4th
now.
of July. It's unbelievable.
We got some good ones. We're all over the board here.
Yeah,
Can't
we
wait.
covered all our bases there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could keep going, but it's hard. It's really hard to choose 5.
Music, we'll have a whole nother episode on that. Like,
Yeah, there's so
dive
many.
into that.
Like different genres. Like we gotta dive deeper into the music realm.
I quickly want to go back to the marathon training, though. Dive a
circle
little
back.
bit deeper into this.
Let's please.
Yeah. Hockey player running a marathon. Who are you running it with? How's the body feeling?
I'm running it with Megan Duggan. So we went and had coffee with her. It was like last March or something. And she brought up that she was running it. And we were like, oh my gosh, that's amazing for the Women's Sports Foundation, obviously. And she was like, you should run it with me. And I was like, yeah, like as a joke, thinking, okay, she'll forget about this.
Dana
and
and I were like, you were doing
Yeah,
it. We
Megan-
like basically signed her up.
yeah, they're
for
like,
this.
no, like you can do it. Meg's like, I got Normatex, like we're good, like you can absolutely do this. And I was like,
I'm
all right,
over
I'll
here
think about
like
it.
being a fan, like just being like, yeah, she can do it. She'll do it.
And I texted my family, and my dad's like, I mean, if you aren't gonna run it like if you're not gonna have this clear of an opportunity to do it, you'll never run one. And that's when I was like, that's actually a good point. Like I have a whole, being handheld, this is who you're running it for. There's no work that really needs to be done other than the training, obviously. So I was like, yeah, all right, I'll do it. It's a good time. New York City is not as hilly as Boston, so that's good. But yeah, body's like holding on by a thread at this point. Like literally, I ran the 20 miles and I felt pretty good, actually. My pace was decent. My body was like okay, and then the few days after it just started, I could barely walk. Like my whole right leg my knee was just like locked, and so I was in a state of panic literally 1 week ago today. Like, what am I going to do? I can't run more than 4 miles. So I saw a doctor, told him the exact situation, and I told him, I was like, it's not like, because he said you should probably think about not running it, like if you're in this much pain. And I told him I'm going to run it regardless. Like we are already here at this point. It's in 2 weeks.
Yeah, does he know your story? He should listen to this podcast because then he'll understand like why you're definitely running it.
I don't think he knew the whole story. I gave him some quick background because he's like, do you know why you have such like tight hip pain and things like that? I was like, I used to play hockey. That was all that I gave him.
And I sit on a bike for 3 hours a day.
Exactly. So yeah, we're on the mend, and I'm excited. It should be interesting. Like I really have no expectation. Like even 20 miles, like can I run 6 more miles? That's like almost an hour more of running. But at that point, I feel like my whole body will just be numb, and you're just running on adrenaline. So yeah.
Well, we're
have no
excited
idea
to
what
watch.
to
This
expect.
episode's going to come out after you've run it. So do you have like a time that you're shooting for, or?
Yeah, under 4 hours. So that's like under 9-minute mile pace. I've been like right around 8:20, 8:30, like for the 20 miles. So that gives me some room to fall down, like walk if I need to.
Fall
like,
down.
literally fall down if that occurs. So yeah, under 4. We'll see how that.
And
how
who do
that
you think's
happens.
gonna win, you or Meg?
I mean, she's a machine.
Meg Duggan.
Yeah, she's like followed the program to every single day. I feel like, how she takes care of herself so diligently.
She's
and
hydrating. You're
yeah,
not.
she's just such a process-oriented details. We could not have approached this in more opposite ways, but we're following the same program. But I had to go rogue in a few ways because I was like I couldn't run. So I don't know. She's gonna kill it. Like she has a time in mind, but she's gonna do so much faster than that time. I know that. So
Well, we're excited to
Yeah,
watch
please.
you guys, cheer you on, and
We'll be tracking you.
yeah, I'll share my number once I have that. So
yes, please do.
you can just see me slowly approaching.
Yeah, I think we have one more thing that we like to do with all of the guests we have on. Kess and I shared ours in our first episode. We call it the It Factor, and it's just sort of what's that one thing that you think allowed you to be so successful throughout your career, throughout your journey? Like, what's your It Factor?
Oh, wow, that's a big one.
It's a deep one.
I don't know. I think honestly, it's just like enjoying it. Like, especially like when things were like super challenging and hard, I always like reverted back to like, why am I even doing this in the first place? So just like having fun with it. Like, your teammates. I mean, I was lucky that I always had such incredible fun teammates, so there was never, I feel like any time it was like hard, you could always just lean on your teammates. And that's what kind of reminded me why we're even doing it. And that's like, longevity wise. You guys are still playing, so you obviously must love playing the game, and that's kind of why you do it. So that was always my thing, was just like having fun. The more fun you're having, like the better I always played. So probably that. Yeah.
Well, you're one of the best and funniest teammates that we've ever had. So thanks for coming on. It was a blast to
thanks
catch up.
for-
We'll
Yeah.
have you on
having me.
again.
Yeah, we'll be having you back on here for sure.
Maybe we'll get Penny on here.
Oh, she would
mom.
love that. She's been trying to do a podcast for a while with me, but we just haven't gotten it off the ground yet. So,
Well, reach out to Torch. They help out with podcasts.
oh, yeah. No, she'll ease her way back into it for sure. But thank you guys, for having me. It was a blast.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
And you can watch us on TorchPro YouTube channel, listen on Apple and Spotify, like and subscribe, share with your friends. Instagram.
IG, baby.
Keller
Keller
and
and
Kess
Kess.
show.
What's
Keller and
yours?
Kess. My IG handle?
Yeah.
At Scroops30s28.
Scroops.
Plus
All
3
right.
bean teeny.
Plus 3 beantini for some elite espresso martini
We didn't even
content.
get to that.
I know.
Yeah.
We gotta have you
Next
back.
time.
Yeah,
We'll do a round table and
Do a tasting.
yeah.
All
Oh
right.
yeah, tasting.
Sweet.
That's it.
Thanks, guys.